Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're here for the Futsal Champions Series Semifinal number 2. Grand Rapids Olay hosting Detroit Imperial. Jared Kleppel, Gerard Ascani watching the action alongside you. To kick things off right away, we have an interview with Coach Fabian of Grand Rapids Olay. So we're going to throw it over to Jennifer. Jennifer?
With Olay's head coach, Fabian. Fabian, how are you feeling heading into tonight's game? You've been undefeated this season, beat Imperial both times. What are your feelings?
Well, we're excited. We're all excited to play, and I hope that the players can step in calm and continue to do their thing.
What players should we keep our eyes out tonight to make a difference in the game?
Man, it's hard to answer really, but I think the biggest thing to keep an eye out is defensively from our team, where we're really looking for a team effort to be consistent throughout the whole game defensively.
Well, thank you for your time and good luck tonight.
Thank
you. Great words there from Coach Fabian Rodriguez. And we're going to be featuring some of the players here in just a moment. But first, we need to set the stage a little bit here. Gerard, we have a Detroit Imperial team coming in on the road, and they've looked different at home and on the road, and they're facing a very good Imperial side.
They sure are, and one of the biggest reasons they've looked different is because of the player availability. So we have learned tonight that they have almost their full roster available to them, and so we should anticipate seeing one of the best performances all season from Detroit Imperial tonight.
But for Grand Rapids Olay, that's going to be the tall task that Imperial has to overcome. Grand Rapids Olay, a few players to keep in mind. First, we had him on the podcast just this last week, Aaron Gomez for Grand Rapids Olay.
Oh, Aaron Gomez is solid. I mean, there's a reason he was on the podcast. He is one of their players that truly is a testament of everything that Olay does right. They have an incredible commitment to the defensive end of the ball. That's their first priority every single match. But what he does so well is he is able to not only lock down his defender or his offensive player defensively, he's also able to create offense as well. So he is truly an all-arounder for Grand Rapids Olay.
He will certainly make an impact, as you mentioned, all around for Grand Rapids Olay. And, you know, their roster is full of players that we could feature. And at some point we have to make a decision on who we're going to talk about, right? So the other, one other player that I wanted to point out, we pointed him out last time when they played Lansing City. He's hard to miss because he's the tallest guy on the court. It's Chris Mendez.
Yeah, Chris Mendez is phenomenal as well, and he's somebody that's silky smooth on the ball. So as far as like ball skills go, most likely only Jair Real's the only Olay's player that has better ball skills than Chris Mendez. And Chris Mendez is somebody that really understands his role in the game, and if they need him to create offense, he creates offense. If they need him to defensively lock down his opponent, he does that as well.
He will be one of the players to watch out for Grand Rapids Olay. And as Fabian mentioned, it's not just the individual players, Gerard. It's how the players work together. He mentioned the defense, but it's also, they run 2 or 3 lines, and the lines are almost interchangeable. The level of play hardly drops between them, and that makes it really challenging for opponents.
And it really does. And one of the things that they were able to take advantage of a couple of late-season matchups against Midwest FC is they were able to move some of those lineups around and work some different rotations, get some different formations in the lines. And so now they have even more chemistry as an entire team. From the first 3 lines that they're going to show us tonight, we will see that consistency and that ability to just effectively know where your teammates are going to be.
But one player that we need to talk about if we're talking about Grand Rapids Olay, it's number 22, Sammy Esquivel. What kind of impact do you expect to have him to have on the game today, Gerard?
In so many ways, Sammy is like the heart and soul of Grand Rapids Olay. And the reason he is someone to keep an eye out for is not just his ability on the court and his ability to have an impact in the game. It's his ability to impact the fans and impact the arena and the experience and the excitement, the environment.
Yeah.
So what he does is he brings people into the game and he gets that level of excitement up. And so that's what I really look for Sammy tonight, is to see how is he going to engage the fans, how is he going to really spark his team tonight.
And that's something that we've seen him do all year long. And there are some players that provide that spark on the other side for Detroit Imperial. We're going to talk a little bit more about them after the break. So we're going to send you to our sponsors. Don't go anywhere.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Going to the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
MSA Sports Spot, Jared Kleppel, Gerard Ascani, the FCS Semifinals. The second match is today. Grand Rapids Olay hosting Detroit Imperial. And we have coach for Detroit Imperial, Pierce Brannigan, courtside with Jennifer Ascani right now. Over to you, Jen.
I'm here with Imperial's head coach, Pierce. Pierce, your last meeting against Olay, you guys came out really strong in the first half and then seemed to fizzle in the second half. Moving forward today, what is going to go differently, hopefully, for Imperial?
Thankfully we've had 2 weeks now to prepare. We had a lot of guys coming off injury, and I think for us we got a really solid and deep roster now here to participate and play. And, we've really focused in on all aspects of the game, but especially the management portion. Managing our heads from minute 1 to minute 40 and seeing the game out and seeing it through.
What players should we keep our eye on tonight to make a big impact for Imperial?
I think our big impact players are obviously it's always going to be Davide. I think Emerson, he's had an absolutely standout season. He's going to be a huge asset for us tonight. And I look for guys like Costa Wells and Peyton Trask to really put their stamp on the game here tonight. It's their opportunity to step up, and I think they're going to do it.
Well, thank you for your time, and good luck tonight.
Great to hear from Coach Brannigan, as always. And Gerard, Jen kind of mentioned it. Last time these two teams met, didn't go so well for Detroit. They lost by quite a lot in Grand Rapids. But, hey, it's the playoffs now. It's semifinals. You throw everything from the regular season out the window.
Yeah, you definitely do. And it's been a long season. There's been a lot of ups and downs for Detroit Imperial. And we kind of talked about that earlier. Player availability played a big factor in the way that they showed up for a lot of these matches. And tonight, with almost all of their players available, they have no injuries to note of. They are going to be a different team than probably we've seen all season.
One of the players to make note of for this Detroit Imperial team, it's number 11, Costa Wells. You see him here talking on the sideline with Davide. He has been one of their key players in possessing and technique on the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we talked about Aaron Gomez earlier about him being like an all-arounder, and Costa's very much in that same vein. He's just an all-around outstanding futsal player. He's somebody that is dependable, trustworthy. He understands where to be, when to be there, and how to lock down the opponent as well.
And dependability is something that Detroit Imperial is going to need all game long if they're going to compete with the best in the league, right? Grand Rapids Olay have not lost a game all year. They're on a 9-game winning streak. One of the players that's going to be key for Detroit Imperial, they have to stop the goals of Olay, and they have the best keeper in the league, Emerson Mena.
They do have the best keeper in the league, and I think that's one of the biggest challenges tonight for Detroit Imperial is you have the best keeper in the league, but then you also have an incredible offensive asset in Michael Forbes. And so Emerson Mena is hands down the best shot stopper in the league, best at positional awareness and understanding where to be and how to anticipate shots from the team. And how is Pierce Brennigan going to figure out how to balance the offensive standout, the offensive prowess of Michael Forbes, while understanding the defensive ability that Emerson Mena brings to the table as well?
Emerson Mena has certainly had a large impact. You talk about Michael Forbes. He's been in goal, a lot of the season until about halfway through. We saw Emerson Mena come in, and he's been really big for them. But one player that every time he's on the court for Detroit Imperial, he makes a difference, and you can tell when he's not there, is number 32, Davide DePoce.
Yeah, and if you've taken a chance to look at our stats in this league, Davide DePoce is the points per game leader, and that's the most assists and goals per game of anybody in the league. And if you know anything about futsal, you know that that's a big deal. Davide DePoce is somebody that has an outstanding ability on the ball. His technical skills are some of the best in the league. So anytime he has an opportunity to get on ball, make sure you're keeping your eyes on the screen for him.
He's one of those kind of players that I think it was Aaron Gomez who said it. He said, you think you got him, trapped in his own zone, and he somehow splits the defenders, gets out of there.
Yeah, one of my favorite clips of the entire season was when in Futsal Sala, it was a home game for Detroit Imperial. Olay was high pressing, and it seemed like it was no one could stop DePoce. He got around 3 different people walking the ball on a tightrope on his own end line, and it was just a phenomenal display of skill. And to think that even when 3 Olay players were trying to get the ball from DePoce, they couldn't. And if he can bring that level of skill and form tonight, watch out.
It's Detroit Imperial taking on Grand Rapids Olay for the second spot in the final on Saturday, just coming up in 6 days. We're going to step aside to our sponsors. When we get back, we're going to be very near to kickoff. Player announcements, coin toss, and kickoff coming your way right after this. Don't go anywhere.
One change.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Going to the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
semifinal weekend for the Futsal Champions Series. Our second match sees top-seeded Ole Futsal Club hosting number 4 seed Detroit Imperial. Imperial won a return to the playoffs in a 3-team dogfight to end the season, albeit with help from an Ole result in the final match of the year. Imperial's season has been a roller coaster of results, and they find a familiar foe in Ole waiting in the first round of their title defense. Ole looks to continue their unbeaten season. Champions in their own right, the aim now is to conquer this new league. They play host in a familiar facility to championship futsal, MSA Sports Spot. Can Ole stay unbeaten in front of their home fans? Can Imperial return to the championship? All regular season records are out the window as playoff action begins between Ole and Detroit Imperial now.
It's the Futsal Champions Series playoffs here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, the MSA Sports Spot. Today, Grand Rapids Ole hosts Detroit Imperial in the second semifinal match of the FCS. I'm Jared Klepp along with Gerard Iscani. A spot in the finals is at stake. And one of these teams had a phenomenal season. The other team, a shaky season. They're both defending champs in their own right. One of them looked it, one of them didn't. But at this point, Gerard, it's the playoffs, and one game matters.
One game matters. Both of these teams ended last season with a victory, but that's not going to be the case this season. Only one of them will today. We have talked a lot about Grand Rapids Ole and what they have done this entire season, and we anticipate more of that tonight. They are so solid from top to bottom. They have 3 lines that are arguably the best lines across the entire league. And when you can sub throughout a futsal game for 40 minutes and not really lose much from one line to the next, whew, watch out.
Player for player, Grand Rapids Ole, I think, in probably everyone's opinion, is the best team in the league. They've proved it. They've shown it up to this point. But, like I said, the regular season, you throw it out the window because one game matters. And Detroit Imperial, they are not here to lose this game.
They sure are not. And here's the thing. So we talk about Ole and their depth. But when you talk about quality, right, Davide DePoce is one of the best players in the league. And although there's a big drop-off when he subs off, he just doesn't sub off. He plays almost the entirety of every single game. And so he's someone to keep an eye out for because his ability, his technical skills are unparalleled. And when he gets on the ball, it's going to be difficult for Ole to stop him.
One of the biggest factors that we've seen all year long is the court size of the game being played on. Whatever that court size is on that particular day, it has a big impact. Detroit Imperial, their home in Canton Sala, is a smaller court. This one is bigger. We've seen them struggle on bigger courts this year. What do you expect?
Well, as much as I just said, DePoce has incredible skills. I do anticipate them struggling because of the size of the court. So once the ball leaves DePoce, it's where's that creative element that's going to continue to carry them forward. Because with the bigger court size, it's not just a one-pass shot. It's not just you get past half court and you take a shot on goal. You have to really create your offense, and you have to maintain possession, and you have to have some creative movement. And so that's one of the things that Pierce Brannigan talked about this week is that how are they going to show up with the creativity of getting into space and really compressing the court size so that they can find areas to get 1v1s against Ole.
Now, on Ole's front, the key to their victory, what do you think that is?
Ole, really the key to their victory is just consistency. Just consistency in doing what they have done all season long and just coming out tonight, maintaining their composure, not letting any of the head games that might have distracted them from time to time, especially with Detroit Imperial. If they play their game, they're walking out here with a W.
And that's what they've done 9 times already this year. Their only non-win wasn't even a loss. It was their very first game they drew with Midwest United, who yesterday punched their ticket to the final.
Yeah, and that's the matchup. When we talk about the final, all Grand Rapids final, wow, that's going to be wild. But we got 40 minutes of action right here tonight. Detroit Imperial has a great shot. If you remember back to when they played at Futsal Sala, they were up 3-1 before DePoce got a red card. And so when you think if they can bring that level of skill and that level of control to the game, they got a chance tonight.
They absolutely do, and we've seen them. They bring an energy. They bring a passion for the game, and we've seen it many times spill over into yellow cards, into red cards, and into scuffles on the court, but they need to harness that in some way, without losing their head. That they're going to need that tonight.
That's the key. Can they play with that high level of intensity and energy and maintain their composure? If they can walk out of here victorious.
But they have a very tall mountain in front of them. Grand Rapids Olay, 9 straight victories, a undefeated season, and they have one goal on their mind, the most reasonable expectation for them up to this point, and that's getting to the final. Action is coming up in just a minute. We're going to have the starting lineups introduced and the kickoff. So stay right here with us. We're going to take you out to the court. Detroit Imperial taking a photo right in the net before we get ready here. Starters for Olay on the court getting ready. Refs discussing. The kickoff is just around the corner. If you're with us here in the YouTube chat, put in who you think is going to be victorious today. Actually, better yet, let's make a poll here and let's say, hey, who do you think is going to win? Who punches their ticket to the final? Gerard, who do you think it's going to be?
Well, at this point, there's no turning back. I've said it throughout the week, throughout the season. I think Grand Rapids Olay is one of the best teams in the country. So I think they're taking away the W, and I think they're going to do it in comfortable fashion as well.
We're moments away from starters being announced and the kick happening. This is an exciting one. I mean, if you love futsal, if you're excited for the FCS, this is one of the best games of the year. It's all on the line. One game, win or go home. And the final is coming up on Saturday. Whoever wins this game is going to be playing Midwest United in that one in Lansing. Starters lining up right now, walking out with the referees. So we're going to send you down to our public address.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the semifinals of the FCS. Please stand and rise for the national anthem. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Grand Rapids, Michigan is the place to be today for the Futsal Champions Series semifinal match. Number 2, Grand Rapids Olay hosts Detroit Imperial for a spot in the FCS finals on Saturday. I'm Jared Klepp along with Gerard Ascani. Today is a great day for futsal, Gerard.
It sure is, and Grand Rapids never disappoints. They have this is truly a hotbed for futsal. When you think about all of the fans showing up, I know we got people at home watching this game, couldn't make it out here tonight, This is the place to be in Grand Rapids tonight. The excitement and energy here is palpable. We are going to have an incredible night. We got the vuvuzelas out. The fans are going crazy already.
Super exciting atmosphere, music going, fans going, as you mentioned, the flags and the vuvuzelas. Starting tonight, Detroit Imperial, Emerson Mena is in goal. They have Abdullah Saleh, Ahmed Abderrahman, Peyton Trask, and Davide DePoche is how they're going to start. And on the other side, Grand Rapids, Olay, Frankie Mendoza in goal, Lito Esquivel, Sammy Esquivel, brother duo on the court, as well as Chris Mendez and Aaron Gamez to round out their starting five. And here we go. The action has begun. Semifinal number 2, Olay versus Imperial. Imperial starting with a high press. Lito looking across court. It's off the mark. Frankie chooses to go long. Gomez brings it down, finds Lito on the layoff. He gets it back. He's got DePoche in front of him, and DePoche takes it from him. He's got 2 on him right away. Looks like we're going to see both teams high press today, Gerard.
Yeah, I anticipate a lot of pressure and intensity from both teams. You know, one of the things we don't talk about often is DePoche's technical skills on defense. That steal from Gamez is always nice to see.
Imperial trying to get out. They get it up the court, but too far in front of their attacker. Now here's Sammy Esquivel on the near side. He's working with Aaron Gamez. Now here is Sammy sizing up DePoche. It's inside, and now Gamez with the strike. And Mena on the board with his first save, and it's Mendez. He's wide open. 1 minute, 15 seconds in. Olay have goal number 1.
Wow. You know, we talk about communication. We talk about these lines for Olay, knowing how to work together, knowing how to play together. Chris Mendez knew exactly where to be. Sammy Esquivel gave almost like a no-look pass. He recognized where Chris was going. Really great communication there. Emerson Mena was caught off guard because there's no way you could anticipate a pass from Sammy Esquivel right there. The only person that was anticipating that pass was Chris Mendez.
And he puts Olay on the board, drawing first blood. Definitely not what you want to see if you're an Imperial fan going down early on the road to the best team in the league.
No, it wasn't, and that caused a lot of frustration from DePoche, and he was letting Peyton Trask hear it. One of the things that you have to do in those situations is make sure that back post is covered.
Corner kick from Olay. Lito chips it to Aaron Gamez. He finds Mendez. He's in on goal. Oh, it's off the post. But Mendez with another chance. Blocked. Imperial get out of there.
Wow. How did they get out of that one without another goal?
3 quick chances for Olay right inside the arc. And Imperial very fortunate to walk away from that one.
Look, we talk about the creativity. That setup by Gamez and Chris Mendez, the little Gamez passed it to him. Mendez flicked it back with a header. Wow.
Well, here's Wells with his own chance. A toe poke, had pace, but went over the bar.
Looks like we're going to see some of the second line start to make their way out for Olay. Cesar Martinez and Jair Real getting the first action of tonight. And it looks like
goes. Sorry, yeah.
First foul.
First foul of the match. Hitting the deck. Cesar Martinez.
And DePoche is not one to shy away from any physical contact there, collecting the first foul of the match.
So set piece for Olay. And they love their set pieces. We'll see what they have drawn up here. 3 players on the back post. Ooh, that one nearly got to Martinez, but Imperial defense sharp. Quick turnover to Olay, and now they possess. Lito Esquivel still on the court. He's trying to get off for a sub. He can't quite yet. He's going to let that one go, and he'll finish the substituting line in favor of Johan Vasquez.
Such a crafty move from Lido Esquivel, too, to let that ball go out to allow that time for the substitution.
Now here is Imperial. They have an opportunity in on goal. Mendoza kicks it away, and Imperial with their first chance.
You know, it's one of the things we talk about. We don't get to see the goalies for Ole in action a lot of times, but what a great save by Frankie Mendoza.
Ole trying to possess in the back. Detroit pressured too much. A wayward pass is going to turn it over. Isala all the way over to Wells. He's pressed hard. Here comes the Ole pressure, trying to push them back, push them back. Imperial creates some space. Down the line, not there. Mendoza out.
On a steal by Esala.
Going the other way. Looking for Depoche. He's not. Ball doesn't quite get there. Now Ole the other way. 2v1. Davide getting back. 2v2. Martinez looking for Vasquez. Not there. Ole in the half-court offense. Ariel takes a deflection out on the sideline. Imperial push Ole back, but Ole quickly up towards the pivot. Danny Diaz, Cesar Martinez, they finish it off. Beautiful goal.
Wow. You know, we talk about this time and time again about Ole's ability to create offense. This is just a beautiful movement between Vasquez, Diaz, and Martinez. Wow. You know, they all have the ES. They all have it, and they just know where each other's going to be. You know, so many players in that spot, unlike Diaz, would take in a shot right there, but he knows to make that extra pass, and Cesar Martinez is in on goal.
Detroit ball.
Ifa.
Ole with another line change after scoring goal number 2. Here's Cesar Alayo taking on Isale, and Mena comes out, deflects that one away. Corner kick for Ole.
And tonight we're seeing the first action from TJ Ifa Torito, and Fabian Rodriguez had a lot of great things to say about him. He said he's possibly the fastest player he's ever seen in futsal.
That's saying quite a bit. He has seen quite a few players in his time as futsal coach, club director, whatever you would want to say.
Well, I just know this. Fabian was really excited that TJ is going to get in some action tonight, and he says that if TJ would have been available every game, he would have been hands down a first-line starter all season long.
We're also seeing Mose Crawford. He has it here under heavy pressure. Depoche trying to create something on the defense. Now here comes TJ. Finding Crawford at the back post is Alayo, but Abdullah Saleh clears it away first. Little pick happening to give space for Alayo. And now Imperial the other way. They have the counter. And, Depoche barely missing at the near post. He wanted a foul.
Yeah, and it sure looked like Abdul Al-Bari was pushed in the back. You know, that is a situation where maybe they were considering playing advantage. Maybe they didn't see the contact. But he was definitely pushed. Whether or not it impacted the play, Depoche still had a shot, but it went wide.
Probably the best chance for Imperial as of yet. Here goes Mose Crawford looking at the back post. He is there. He finds his man, TJ Ifatuorti. Goal number 3.
Well, there you go. We just talked about TJ's speed. That wasn't speed that put the measure of success in that play. It was positioning, and that's one of the things that's really important. It's not just about how fast you can get somewhere, but it's about understanding where to be. On all of these goals so far, Olay is demonstrating time and time again that they understand where to be to put the ball in the back of the net.
Timeout called by Detroit Imperial. 5 minutes gone in the first half, and they are looking at a 3-goal uphill climb. I don't know if I'd say it's a mountain yet, but it's an uphill climb. This game is sponsored by Ally Marketing. If you're looking for a teammate in the marketing space, check out Ally, A-L-L-Y marketing.us, allymarketing.us, the official marketing partner of the Futsal Champions Series. Ally Marketing, let's be friends.
You know, one of the things that's really interesting, last time these two teams met in Grand Rapids, Olay took a quick 5-0 lead. We just saw a really emotional situation where Abdul was pushed from behind. Whether or not that was a foul, that's a conversation
it definitely
for
could have
another
been.
day.
I mean,
it could have been.
I think if I'm a player or a coach or a fan for them, I definitely think it was.
But they quickly give up a goal the other way, and instead of it being a 2-1 ball game, now it's 3-0.
Tough road ahead for Imperial, down 3 on the road. That third goal scored by TJ Ifatuorti. We were talking about his speed, and here he is again. Depoche sliding, keeping that one in. It's 4v2. Can Imperial capitalize on this? Imperial, Depoche just missing the near post. He was a little upset with, I think that was Trask.
Yeah, he wanted a back post run, and Trask wasn't running close enough to it. That's the second time tonight Depoche's hit the side netting.
Giveaway for Olay. An opportunity for Imperial, and Trask again, not quite there.
Yeah, and Depoche is still letting him have it. And I think that's actually Nikon Katbai that was not making that back post run on that one right there.
We've seen Katbai for Imperial in a few games, and that's one of the things that has been, if you look at the stat sheet for the amount of games played for these players for Imperial, you see a lot of variety. I mean, all the way from 3 games played to 7 games played and everything in between. They haven't had consistent rosters this year.
They haven't, and that's really been one of the biggest challenges, one of the biggest obstacles. They had an international tournament that they participated in. That created some roster upheaval, and although it's good experience for the club, it's bad experience for the FCS as far as roster continuity is concerned.
Here is Imperial trying to build out of the back. Olay defense taking it away. A 2v1. Ball to Aaron Gomez. A little too far, and it looks like he whistled for the foul. No, he's not whistled for the foul, just the ball out of bounds and a corner for Olay. Gomez with space up top. Shot blocked by Depoche. Mendoza with a bullet to the foot of Mendez. Imperial will push him back and force the ball out of bounds.
It's actually one of the things I do love to see from Depoche is as great as he is on the ball, defensively, he always is putting himself in good positions to either block the ball or steal the ball.
Starting for on the court for Olay once again. Pressure. Imperial. Oh, their bench wants a foul. Instead, Lito's going to have a chance. He goes down. He wanted a foul, nothing there. Wells helps him up. Didn't quite see what happened over here, but I think for the Imperial attack, they kind of had a breakaway, and they thought their player was pulled down.
Oh, quick turnover. Mendez gets the ball past to Sammy Esquivel to put it away. There's no time to talk about what happened or what calls were missed. Olay is just going to continue to put the pressure on as Imperial is getting frustrated with some of these calls that may or may not be getting. Olay's not allowing the game to slow down. They're putting the pressure on, increasing intensity. And you can see the emotions are running high with Imperial right now. And it looks like Emerson Mena is taking a second. the referee's going out to talk to him about this, but this is where Imperial really needs to maintain their composure. DePoche and Coastal Wells right now are having a very intense conversation. There's some frustration, to be sure.
4-goal advantage for Grand Rapids Olay. Just under 13 to go in the first half. How does Imperial respond is the question. Here's Peyton Trask. He gives it away. Demi Esquivel taking on a double in the middle. Loses the ball. Now DePoche gets around one. He hits the deck. No call from the referee. Comes in strong to that one. Olay come away with the possession. Oh, Chris Mendez lipping towards the bench. That was off camera. You couldn't see it, but that's not something that you like to see. Don't wish injury on anybody.
No, we don't. And while that's happening, Semi Esquivel and DePoche are getting into a little bit of a shouting match with one another. Looked like Esquivel put a little bit of a shoulder into DePoche, and now the referee's calling him over, having a conversation.
Right here we see Semi Esquivel, DePoche chatting with the referees. We've seen these two kind of like
all season long.
All season long. It's like the chemical reaction, right?
Yeah, oil and water is what they're like. Oil and
I'm
water.
thinking of something that explodes.
Like,
Diet Coke and Mentos. That's what I'm thinking of. You put them together, and we've seen this.
Mentos and Diet Coke.
That's what I've been thinking.
Who's Mentos?
I don't know, but one of the two. You put them together. We've seen it, and things tend to boil over. We'll see. Keep an eye on that for the rest of the match. Olay have a mixed line here. Danny Diaz as well as Cesar Martinez have come on. And Imperial nearly winning that one, but now it's numbers the other way. Gomez slows it down and goes back to Mendoza. DePoche leading the pressure. Very clear and obvious jersey grab there. Expected to see a caution on that one. Didn't see it.
Yeah, expected to. You know, it's one of the things that I was just wondering about is at what point will we start to see them start to call some of these fouls. Imperial's starting to get a little bit out of control, and whether or not the calls are going their way, they need to maintain that composure, and we talked about it, and quickly this game can get out of hand if they don't maintain their composure.
DePoche to put the ball back into play. Looking for Abderrahman. Miscommunication between them, but he gets it. And now Wells with some space. Half-court offense for Imperial. Olay playing man-to-man, stepping up, increasing the pressure as Imperial allows them. They're going to force a turnover. Fans getting into this one with chance of Olay. Dangerous opportunity. Oh, follow-up from DePoche, not there either. What a save by Mendoza on the first one, though.
Yeah, great save by Mendoza. Peyton Trask almost slipped that in there, but Mendoza's excellent shot-stopping skills.
Mendoza gets his third save of the night.
And DePoche is getting a much-needed rest right here. He has played the entire game up to this point.
Instead, on the court, Dylan Clark enters for the first time tonight. Now near the arc, the Imperial attack, and Vasquez is going to be whistled for pulling down Clark.
And really, that's the type of call that we need to see called for Imperial to not lose control of this game. There's a lot of physicality both ways, but really look for the officials to lock this down and let it be a clean game where we can see the skill come out.
Abdullah Sela stands over this one. Two-man wall for Olay. Looks like he was going for the back post off the wall, easily into Mendoza's hands. Sliding tackle. Going to be the first caution of the match. Abdullah Saleh going to receive a yellow card for that careless sliding tackle in the referee's eyes. Yeah, it looks like he just missed the ball on it.
Yeah, and what's really tough here is Cesar Martinez, this is his first game back from injury. It looks like that might be the same ankle that was hurt initially and caused him to miss the games. Fabian Rodriguez was saying he's only at about 90% right now. So it looks like that was a pretty rough one. You can see it on his face. That's painful.
He remains in the match for the time being. Jair Real tried to go through Asale, but he shuts the door. Now Dylan Clark has a chance, and he puts it well wide of the goal. Whistle there. Again, it's Asale against Martinez. Fourth foul for Detroit Imperial. We're halfway through the first half. They only have one more foul to give.
Yeah, and while that was happening, Depoche was actually dressing down the third referee about the calls that have been made against Imperial so far.
It's clear based on what we've seen from players and coach that they do not feel the officiating has been fair thus far. Now Mendoza flying up as a fifth attacker. He takes a shot. It's blocked. He retreats back. Danny Diaz to the ground. Imperial collect. Olay with the immediate pressure. El Gabri trying to find Clark. It's a giveaway, 2v1. Danny Diaz tries to leave it, but not on the same page as Jair Real.
That's a rare occurrence for Olay where two of their players are not on the same page. But Diaz and Jair Real aren't always on the same line, so you could see some of that confusion coming up. Oh, and we got a shirt pull in the back. Cesar Martinez.
Definitely a caution, right?
It has to be.
Has to
it
be.
Doesn't look like there's a card coming out.
Has to be a card.
Like he's about to shoot on goal, and there's no card. You know, this is the part that gets really frustrating is when the calls go against you in a situation that's a goal-scoring opportunity. So it's
look at that.
It wouldn't be a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. I don't think.
I mean, because you still have the goalkeeper there.
Though.
But, I mean, absolutely.
That's questionable. There's nobody between him and the goalkeeper, though. So that could actually have been a straight penalty kick and a straight red card.
Oh, a strike off the left foot.
So we're here talking about a potential red card, and we actually didn't see a yellow card shown at all. If you're Detroit Imperial right now, all you can feel in this moment is frustration.
Absolutely furious, and we heard it from their bench after that call. Honestly, I don't know what else to say about that other than what we just said. It seemed like a very clear caution. You know, if not evaluating for further than that, and nothing happened. So Imperial is going to have to play through that. Currently down 4.
And look, we can't take any credit away from Olay. They have played outstanding so far. However, 2 of the goals from Olay came on quick transitions after a potential foul on a breakaway goal. We got another breakaway right here. Frankie Mendoza shuts that down. But after clear potential opportunities. Oh, and Mano with the shot, with the throw, but if that would have went in, it would not have counted. But he was looking to get a little header or deflection off of someone to get that into the goal. But when you think about 2 of the goals for Olay came right after controversial calls, and that's how Imperial cannot respond. They cannot allow the calls that don't go against them to affect the game and to affect the scoreline.
There's El Gabri working with Abderrahman. He feels he was fouled, nothing called. Here is Cesar Alayo for Olay. Looking up the court, finds Marcos Real. He loses it. Abderrahman collects. Saleh slows it down for Imperial. Turnover, Olay now in possession. Marcos Real loses it. 1v1, Abdul Saleh, can he get by 1? Great defending. TJ bringing the ball up the court after that. Trying to counter a 3v3, working with Mose Crawford in the corner. He brings it down, left foot strike, much too high.
And that's where TJ's speed really is such a tremendous asset. That was a breakaway. That was going to be a 1v1 shot on goal, but TJ locked that down.
Davide now in the corner. Working with El Galbri. Oh, coming across the face of goal.
Excellent save from Mendoza. Great positioning there, too, to lock down the near post.
Another whistle against Olay. That's against Imperial. That's 5 fouls. So for the next 7:36, any more fouls from Imperial will result in a 6-foul penalty from the 10-meter mark.
And if you're Detroit Imperial, this is not the position you want to be in. Having to sit on 5 fouls for 7 minutes against Olay, oh, that's a tough challenge.
Olay in the middle of a line change. Only one more player to replace. But Davide with some space. He was looking for the top shelf. Mendoza blocks it. Corner kick, Imperial.
Another great save from Mendoza. It's one of the things that we haven't had lots of opportunities to see from them all season. Mendoza is the best shot stopper in all of the FCS with the highest save percentage.
Faulty kick in there. Official says ball was not on the line when he played it in. Lay will kick it in. Frankie Mendoza out of net for the time being. Ball's going to come to him. He has time and space, but only 4 seconds on the ball. He goes the long diagonal, trying to find Sammy Esquivel. He didn't like it. Wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, we typically don't see that full court distribution from Olay, so it's not something that Mendoza's used to doing.
Oh, nice little touch. Davide DePoche with a great chance, and Mendoza steps up again. How about that play from Imperial?
Yeah, great play. It's talking about full court distribution. That's something that we do see a lot of from Detroit Imperial. Great chest trap by Nikon to pass that off to Davide DePoche. DePoche's had a lot of shots on goal so far tonight, but he's not able to put any of them away just
5
yet.
total right now.
5 total already.
He is the leading shot taker on both sides. Imperial again on a transition. They think it's going to be a corner. Officials disagree. Long diagonal ball from Sammy Esquivel, not hitting his mark. Mena goes long back this way and into the hands of Mendoza. Back and forth action going to end up with Detroit Imperial kick in their own zone.
Yeah, the back and forth action definitely plays into Detroit Imperial's favor as they have less of an ability to maintain possession and build out through the back. So if it keeps up like this, that'll be Imperial's best chance to get back in this game.
Ole chance coming from the crowd. Little chip. Esquivel trying to get Mena off his line, but Mena takes care of that one. Space for Cesar Martinez. He gets by Asale, looking for the back post. Mena's there. Bobbled it just for a second, but he got it.
Yeah, it's one of the things we talk about Mena a lot too, is he's someone that doesn't just save the shot, he maintains possession after the save.
Poche comes down. He's upset. Esquivel with a hard foul. Icon cut by is on the ground. Let's see that one again. He kind of came in from the back. It looked like
he did come in from the back.
And looked like he got the ball and kind of pushed the player down a little bit. It's tough to evaluate on camera. It definitely looked very, very physical right here in the moment.
But this is a situation where, of all of the non-calls that we saw, this was probably the least egregious of them all. But there comes a moment when you do just have to make a call, and it happened right in front of Imperial bench. And even with the call, still Pierce Brannigan was complaining and upset of why haven't we seen more of calls like that. And Sammy Esquivel just pushed him in the back.
That's got to be a yellow.
And
100%. I'm shocked.
You know, it's disappointing to see, and when you don't caution a player on plays like that, it's just going to create more frustration and increase the level of physicality to where the other team is going to be like, well, what do we need to do? How do we have to respond? And if you don't caution that, what do you caution? I mean, we don't caution a clear goal-scoring opportunity. We don't caution a two-arm shove.
Something we're going to have to keep our eye on as the game progresses. Foul count at 4-5 right now. Imperial with a chance. Mendoza with the save. Oh, Abdul Saleh had his look, and it rolled just wide of the post.
You know, it is one of the things we've talked about from Imperial quite often this season is the lack of clinical touch.
He had a few guys right there. It was kind of tough.
He did. It is tough. But we've had so many shots tonight and so many opportunities that have just missed, just went wide, just went high.
15 shots for Imperial, 17 for Olay. One of the stats that is similar across the first half. Poche into the pivot looking for a layoff. Run well there, but Danny Diaz shuts the door.
Yeah, Diaz has an incredible commitment to the defensive, putting his body on the line to block the shot.
Corner kick for Imperial now. Mena sneaking up. Whoa. Cut by. Thought it should be a corner. Is it? Yeah, it is. It's a corner kick. Or no, it's not.
No, it's a goalie restart.
No, it's a restart from the hands of Mendoza.
And again, once again, that was an impossible shot to make, but once again, just wide.
Olay ball.
4:31 to go in the first half. Imperial down 4. What kind of spark can they bring to end out the half? High pressure of Imperial wins it back. Olay providing the pressure of their own, and they'll regain possession near half court. Quick switch for Olay. They come back. Danny Diaz has space. Nice rocket. That was going to the upper right corner. Mena got a finger on it.
Great effort from Mena to stop that. Just get the fingers on it to deflect it high. Diaz put some pace on that ball.
Ball comes to the top. Another save. Mena has to make 2 in quick succession to keep Olay out of the back of the net. Oh, nearly given away there by Imperial, and they will end up giving it away for a kick-in. Like the ball was moving when he on that kick, and so it's turned over to Imperial. Imperial now a 2v2. Great defense from Vasquez to not let the ball through. Here's Jair Real. He loses it. Aldo Poche looking for a way forward. He retreats for the time being. Possession from Imperial lost here. That was a good 15 seconds of possession and mid-court defense. Both teams kind of jostling for that opening.
Yeah, if Detroit Imperial played the 4-0, that would have been a great display of it. But their positioning isn't one, and their movement isn't one to really understand what to do. The 4-0 is the most complicated offensive movement in futsal.
Foul number 5 against Ole. Asale wanted a card. So now any foul from here on out for either team will result in a 6-foul penalty from the 10-meter mark.
Yeah, and so despite them maintaining possession for roughly 15, 20 seconds, they didn't do anything with it, and that's the biggest problem for Imperial. It's not just about whether or not they can maintain the possession, it's can they even do anything with it. So often we see them maintain possession without even a shot on goal ending out.
And here is a shot for Alayo. He got past Mena but couldn't get it into the net.
I would venture to say of their 17 shots tonight, more than 15 of them came from quick transition or counterattacks.
Surely this is going to be 6 foul. No, it's not. Oh.
And no foul there.
No
So
foul there.
As much as we've said about Ole not getting fouls called against them, how did John Hollowell not get a foul called on him? He was with both hands holding. Was that Cesar Lyle? He was holding him from behind?
I think it might have been
or Mose.
Not quite sure who it was on that one.
Oh, it was actually TJ. Yeah, just saw the replay. TJ was being held, you know. So as much as we talk about some of these fouls that weren't being called for Detroit Imperial, they had one right there that wasn't called against them, which would have resulted in a PK.
Just over 2 minutes to go in the first half. Which team will enter the locker room with the momentum? Cesar Alayo with some space off the knee of Mena. Well done, and TJ with the follow-up is off the mark.
What an incredible save from Emerson Mena. You know, he got the knee just in there to deflect it away, and TJ wasn't able to slot it home.
That's a moment where goalkeeper technique, specifically futsal technique as a goalkeeper, was the critical piece. And Emerson Mena, with the loads of experience that he has, doing just the right thing at the right time. And he only needed a little touch, and that's what he got to make that save. You know, other than the score line, you know, neither team really with loads of momentum right now. You kind of feel like either team could make their mark going into halftime.
Yeah, they absolutely could. We got a minute and a half left. How can Imperial respond? Can they capture some of this momentum before we go into the locker room?
Poche with it here. Faced up by Cesar Alayo. He finds a square ball. Val Galbraith, that's Peyton Trask, excuse me. Oh, no call there. Trask is surprised. It looked like, I mean, based on what they've been calling, it wasn't really foul, but kind of seemed like one regardless. But referees swallow their whistle once again. Now 60 seconds left in the first half. High press from Imperial. Sammy's there. He's working with Martinez. Well done to get out of that pressure. Martinez can't keep it at his foot. Long ball met by Mendoza. Strong play there. No foul. Trask, Hollowell, Clark, DePoche for the last 30 seconds for Imperial. Trying to find a way forward to break through this Ole defense. Can they get a goal before this half expires? 20 seconds now in the possession of Ole. Clark steps up, he wins it. It's a 4v3 back post. What a save! Frankie Mendoza shuts the door on Peyton Trask.
Wow. I mean, he is putting a display on for us tonight. When you talk about the best save percentage in the league, it's no surprise at all.
Wow, let's see that one again. Oh, at the back post, he thought surely it would be a goal. And now there's a discussion. I think it's on who
the ball was out on.
Yeah, Imperial thought it was them, and I think Olay agreed at the way that they played, and the referee said, no, it's actually Olay ball with 3 seconds left. Now it's going to be a corner with 1.9. We'll see if that call makes any difference. Corner coming in. That will finish half number one. Olay on top, 4-0. Both teams ended that half 5 fouls apiece. Gerard, your first statement and reflection on the first half.
You know, the biggest thing to think about is how composed Grand Rapids Olay can be to really take advantage of every opportunity. We had a lot of calls that we thought could have gone one way or the other. It really impacted Imperial, and it didn't impact Olay at all. They capitalized on all of those opportunities, and 2 of the goals came after controversial calls against Imperial, and that's the difference, really, is Olay maintained their composure. No matter what happened, they continued playing, whereas Imperial allowed some of those calls to go to negatively impact the scoreline against them.
More halftime thoughts, stats on the other side of the break. We're going to send you to our sponsors. You're watching the Futsal Champions Series semifinal on FCS Live.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Grand Rapids, Michigan for today's Futsal Champions Series semifinal. We're at halftime. Olay is on top of Detroit Imperial 4-0, and we have Coach Fabian Rodriguez of Grand Rapids Olay courtside with Jennifer Ascani. Jennifer?
Fabian, you guys are up 4-0 at the half. We know lots of goals happen in futsal. 4-0 can necessarily turn into something else. How are you going into the second half?
The plan is to try to keep a little more possession. I felt like that was one of our goals before going into the first half. I don't think we saw enough possession that we needed to in order to control the tempo. So I think that's the goal for the first 30 seconds for each one of our lines, is step on and try to keep a little more possession to hopefully keep that lead and keep the energy and that momentum on our side.
How are the players feeling in the locker room? Are they feeling confident going into the second half?
They're feeling good. I mean, we talked about in futsal, 4 goals sometimes can be turned around really quick. So we're going on focus and playing as if it's a 0-0 game.
Thank you for your time and good luck in the second half.
Halftime thoughts from Coach Fabian Rodriguez. You know, he felt like Gerard that they could have possessed more and they could have had a little more control over the tempo of the game, and that's what he's looking for, you know, to try to keep this 4-goal lead, because we know how fast that can switch.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about in the first half, is that the tempo of the game was playing into Imperial's favor. They got a lot of opportunities on goal. They just weren't able to finish them. And if that tempo continues, Imperial will be able to get back into this game. But what Olay does best is possess the ball, create opportunities, control the tempo, and they didn't really do that well. When you think about, they have 4 goals, but 2 of them came off of, again, questionable calls, quick turnarounds, counterattacks. There's really only 2 of the goals that came through great ball movement and creativity. And so really, who is going to show up in the second half? As we're speaking now about Olay, the entire last couple of minutes, Pierce Brannigan has been having a conversation with the referees to really understand why some of these calls weren't being made, and to get an understanding of like what to expect and what to anticipate in the second half.
We're going to be talking a little bit more about the Detroit Imperial side and how they're coming out of the locker room right after this break from our sponsor. Don't go anywhere.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Welcome back to Grand Rapids, Michigan. We got 1 minute left in the halftime break. Grand Rapids Olay on top, 4-0 over Detroit Imperial. On the line is a trip to the FCS Finals. That is this coming Saturday, March 29th, Futsal Champions Series 2025 final. That was way too many 20s the first time. At the Atlantic City Arena at 7 p.m. Come out and see who is going to battle for the cup. And if you can't come out to Lansing, you can always tune in here. Coverage will begin 30 minutes before kick. Midwest United is already in that game, and the second spot is going to be decided tonight. And right now, Imperial are down 4, Gerard, and we have seen some clear discontentment from them on the officiating tonight.
We have, and this is eerily similar to the last time these two teams met in Grand Rapids. At halftime, Olay was up 5-0, and Detroit Imperial responded with really lackadaisical approach. There was no energy, no intensity in the second half. Let's see what Imperial team shows up right now, and if they can bring back that intensity and energy that they had for the first half while maintaining their composure.
It's going to be Olay to kick off for half number 2. Referees getting set. You know, you mentioned, we talked about Imperial's, frustration with calls, and I think a lot of that is warranted. There were several fouls in the first half that did not get called that were committed by Olay. Even a couple of yellows that almost certainly, I assumed they were going to be yellows. That's how, how egregious that they were. I was like, this is obviously a yellow. Twice it didn't happen, but we're going to see how they come out of the halftime break. And we've talked about it before, but the first goal, we actually have talked with Fabian about this. The first goal out of the halftime break is so important.
Yeah, and we saw that last night. Jenga had captured so much of the momentum in that game, and the quick early second half goals from Midwest United really are what sealed the deal for them.
One halftime change for both sides. Andres Montes is going to put on the pink keeper kit for Grand Rapids Olay, and we'll see Mendoza sit down on the bench. We've seen them do that pretty much every game this year, splitting time between their keepers.
Every game, and there's one other change for them as well on this line. It looks like Chris Mendez picked up a little bit of an injury, and Cesar Martinez is stepping back into the first line.
Yeah, we haven't seen Chris Mendez since that. I think it was before the 10-minute mark of the first half, and we've seen him, we saw him limping off, and he has not returned yet. Hope the best for him. In all likelihood, his day is finished. Semi Esquivel is going to ask for the 5 meters here. He'll go back to Lido. Tough defensive pressure from Imperial. They're coming out with energy in the second half. Ball up to the pivot, off the mark. Emerson Mena is going to go long. DePoche tries to settle it. He can't quite keep it from going over the sideline.
Yeah, that's a couple of long distributions in a row to DePoche that he wasn't able to control. As much as they love to have that long distribution, they have to be able to control that ball to be able to do anything with it.
Here's Imperial building out of the back. Olay not in high pressure for the time being, picking up at half court. Now, Gerard, it looks like what Olay is doing right now, this is similar to what Midwest did to Jinga in the second half. Defensively.
Yeah, and it's the same kind of idea, right? So Detroit Imperial.
Oh, what a save from Montez. Davide DePoche surely was going to score on the back post, but Montez slams the door in his face.
It's similar to Jenga in the stance that Detroit Imperial is not a team known for their creative ability. And so when you drop back like this defensively, as Olay's doing right now, what you're doing is you're putting more pressure on Imperial to be able to actually create offensive movement.
Semi Esquivel now finds space in the middle. He was looking at the far right corner, and Mena denies him.
And that ball was going top shelf, too. What an outstanding shot by Semi Esquivel. Another fantastic save from Mena as well.
Corner kick for Olay, first of the half. Martinez steps over it. Esquivel finds the foot of Aaron Gomez. He can't find the back of the net. He wants that one back, Gerard.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to see Olay miss a shot opportunity like that. Gomez had 2 different takes at it, and both were left wanting.
Ball back to Esquivel up at the point. He finds Cesar Martinez, lots of space. He puts it back. That layoff really creating space for the shot from the powerful leg of Sammy Esquivel. Ball comes to him again. Ole content to go backwards. Montez playing into the pivot. Isale wins it. He's under heavy pressure. He goes down. No whistle. Cesar Martinez still on the ground. Lito playing with the Poche. Wins the ball. The Poche on the ground, but now Imperial back with it. Lito steps in. It's not there. Can the Poche finish? He does. Imperial breakthrough. First goal of the half. It's 4-1.
Yeah, and that's the chaotic movement that ensues from the back and forth, winning the ball back, losing the ball, winning the ball back. That's where Imperial can really put their mark on this game if they can take some more opportunities like that. DePoche finally finds the back of the net.
Oh, Johan Vasquez trying to immediately get that goal back. But Imperial with that all-important first goal, but Vasquez again takes it away, and he adds just seconds later the 5th goal for Ole.
Fantastic positioning from Vasquez. Emerson made a great save right there, but something uncharacteristic for him is he actually didn't maintain possession of the ball, and he just deflected out. But Vasquez was right in the perfect spot to put that away, and he made sure that was on target.
So immediately the 1-goal advantage that Imperial had in this half taken away. Whatever momentum they had gained, gone just like that.
You know, we talk about it a lot, momentum in futsal, and, you know, it just as fast as it comes, it goes.
Isale's going to step up to take this kick in for Imperial. On the court with him, DePoche, Trask, El Gabri. Trask trying to turn here. He's got J.R. Real with him. The double comes. Ole with high-energy defense, with the quick substitutions that they can make, with a minimum of 2 full lines.
Another great tackle from Diaz.
And that's something that's really important to keep in mind, because it's really tough to you don't really see it when you're just watching casually. But a player like Davide DePoche, I mean, he has spent probably 80% of game time on the floor. And on the other side, all the players of Grand Rapids Ole have basically been 50-50 so far. Maybe even less, because they have more than the 2 lines.
Mm-hmm.
So just the freshness, you know, it can play a big factor as the game continues, and it can be missed if you're not aware of who's been on the court and how long.
We've seen that time and time again from Ole, where they really pull away games and they control immensely in the second half, and so much of that is due to the freshness and just the ability to have that high level of energy the entire game, because they maintain that freshness.
And here they go again. Ball coming to the far side, back to J.R. Real. He looks for space, going to the near post, block from Mena. Imperial possess. They keep the possession. They do well to keep it there as the possession changed. They're on the attack now. A bike. Algabri. Wow, that was exciting.
That was exciting. It's a shame he couldn't finish it. We even had Peyton Trask almost on the back end he made a back post run, but he missed that one too.
We're going to have to show you that in a minute. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. Look at this play. The effort. The chip. Algary goes up. Not half bad either. Wow, that was exciting. And like you said, he nearly found his teammate on the far post. What an amazing goal that would have been. They might have taken the top spot had they found the back of the net in that one for best goal of the year.
Yeah, we've had a lot of outstanding goals this season that would have quickly flown to the top of the list.
Oh, Johan Vasquez. He wanted J.R. Real to be closer to the post.
And, we talk about this a lot. At what point does a team really switch things up and recognize that the game's on the line? They're down by 4, 14 minutes to go in the second half. Michael Forbes is actually warming up, and he's wearing an attacking kit. Oh!
Save from Andres Montez on the shot from Costa Wells.
And so, one of the things that Michael Forbes brings to the table is he's one of the best attacking goalkeepers in the league. And so that would definitely create a different dynamic here for Detroit Imperial.
DePoche now keeping the ball at his feet. Trying to find Abderrahman at the far post. He does, but a little bit too late. You can see he's spent a lot of energy, DePoche, in this game. He's breathing heavy.
Yeah, and that's the part, right? When you play 80% of the game, you barely take any time off the court. This is a physical game. This is an intense game. It's hard to maintain that stamina for 40 minutes.
Now here goes Cesar Alayo. Mena out of goal, in trouble. He slides, and he does enough. Imperial bench wanted a foul there. They're not going to get one. But great defensive effort to come back is Emerson Mena there. Good defense from Imperial. Now in the hands of Mena. He goes to Algebri. Algebri gets by one, and the double. And now a strike. It gets to the back post. How about that one?
Wow.
Abdou Algebri.
That is an impressive display of talent right there to really break through. I mean, in so many ways, he's like a running back, just breaking through the line, dribbling the ball. Nobody could stop him. And then he makes a great, outstanding back post, low and away. Frankie Mendoza wasn't able to stop that.
Very interesting on that goal. We saw Andres Montes. He's been so good all year. But, DePoche, hold on for a moment. Almost had a strike. But Montes has been good all year, but he did not go into the split save for that one. He tried to get to it with his hands, and it was much too slow on a shot that, it wasn't the hardest shot to save. I mean, it was a phenomenal effort from Algebri all around, but not the kind of shot that, the kind of shot you would expect the goalie to split and save it.
You would expect that, yeah, and apologies. It wasn't Frankie Mendoza. It was Andres Montez, and it's not something – we haven't seen him with those split saves like that, so I don't know if he's flexible enough to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's definitely a futsal-specific goalkeeper, technique, and it's not something that every goalkeeper in this league has. But a phenomenal effort from Abdou Algebri to bring – life back into this Imperial squad. They trail by 3 with 13 minutes to go. Game not out of reach by any means. Olay with possession here. Costa Wells on the defense. Ball in. Alayo looking for some kind of deflection, but goes through off Mena. Corner kick for Olay. So just to clarify right now, the score on your screen says 5-1. It is 5-2. Imperial do have 2 right now, and they trail by 3 goals. Sammy trying to go down the corner. Oh, Alayo was there. Sammy had Mena beat with the cross, but Alayo not expecting it to make it through.
And I don't know if Mena got a hand on that, but there was a deflection.
Yes, it did take a deflection, so Olay with a corner now. The chip can't make its way all the way to Esquivel. Three seconds on the count for Esquivel. He gets rid of it. Quickly to the other side. Cut inside. He found the back post. He beat Emerson Mena to the back post. Well done from Marcos Real. Goal number 6, Grand Rapids Olay.
What an outstanding shot by Marcos Real. When we talk about putting the ball in a difficult spot to save, there's no better place to do that than that back corner, low and away. Emerson is a fantastic shot stopper, and he, as well as Andres Montez, were put to the task on both of those last goals, and neither one of them were able to come away with the save.
Olay increased their lead. It's back to 4. We started at 4 at the beginning of this half, and now it's back to 4. Sammy Esquivel down the line. He beats one. The toe poke. Wow. Glove save if he was wearing a glove.
Yeah,
from Emerson Mano.
That's a fingertip save right there. And,
excellent reaction.
You wonder why a lot of the keepers have their fingers taped and the knuckles taped. That's why right there. Get a little reinforcement because he can just poke it away.
Well done from Mena to keep Olay out once again. Olay now have their starting 4 of how they started this half. Of course, Chris Mendez, if you didn't hear, he's been out on injury since probably about 13 minutes ago in the first half. Cesar Martinez stepping into his place on the first line. And ball was moving on that kicking from Imperial, and they can't believe it. Vito Esquivel to put this one into play. You find Sammy, little pick coming from Aaron Gomez. He gets it now near the corner, face up by Costa Wells. Touch inside, looking for Martinez. It's not there. Gomez and Costa physical in the middle there. No call from the referee. No calls all half, actually, either way for the referees. This one gets laid off for Sammy Esquivel. He had a great look at it with a full head of steam. Takes a deflection. It'll be out for an Olay corner.
And, we haven't had any fouls called, but I don't think that there have been any egregious situations that really are needing a call at this moment. Both teams have been playing pretty clean the second half.
Esquivel, Lito Esquivel, near side, 1v1. Working against Algebri. Algebri doing well. Oh, there goes Cesar Martinez through the legs of one defender, but he can't escape the double. Now Abdullah Saleh going the other way. It's a 3v3. DePoche's with him. And DePoche is going to get a yellow card. Sammy Esquivel in disbelief. I didn't catch what happened. Did you see it, Gerard?
Yeah, so he got the yellow for the foul, but then he had some choice words for the official, and Sammy Esquivel was upset that there wasn't a second yellow given for what was said.
DePoche on the bench, and he is still talking right now. And Olay on the attack.
Yeah, and this is really a pivotal moment for Imperial. This is really where they lost their cool in the first half when a call didn't go their way. And how are they going to respond right here?
Great defense from Dylan Clark. Clark goes to the ground right in front of the official, no call. Imperial wanted a foul. I didn't see what happened. Clark on the turn, working with Asale. Asale, Trask, Clark, and Costa Wells on for Imperial. Good opportunity for Trask. Vasquez gets back. Now Olay with their own transition. Aaron Gomez just out of his reach. It's going to be a yellow card for Abdul Isale as he and Cesar Martinez. Adrian Diaz quickly coming up to the rescue of his teammate. And Gerard, this one is starting to get out of hand.
Yeah, the problem here, and I didn't see what Cesar Martinez did, but Cesar Martinez did something that caused Abdullah Esala to respond that way. And I was thinking that the yellow card was for Cesar Martinez, but it's actually not. The call was against Detroit Imperial, and this is the part that becomes really confusing. Like, why? How? What happened?
Another discussion happening between the officials right here. Official from the far side coming in, getting out his book. And that actually, I think they're saying it was the second yellow for, a double yellow for Abdullah Saleh, I believe is what it. Play is still stopped. Referees are still chatting. We already saw a double yellow. This game quickly needing to be gathered back under control by the men in red here, the officiating crew. Both teams getting emotions running high, lots of talking. We're actually right in between these two teams, their two benches, and we're hearing words going across both ways to the refs, to the players. And with 10 minutes to go in this one, time will tell how this one turns out as Danny Diaz goes way over the bar.
It's just disappointing to see that to be really like the focus of the game as opposed to the game itself.
Yeah.
There's so much skill on the floor, and because there's some inconsistency in the calls, there's so much attention on that as opposed to on the skill of the players.
We still got a quarter of a game to play. Olay up 4.
And currently down a man because of that red card as well. So can they at least maintain this goal differential while down a man?
TJ looked like he was grabbed there. No call from the officiating crew. Emerson Mena now looking high up the court. Dylan Clark holding it up. Really just trying to spend as much time with possession as possible so that they can get their fourth man back on. He's on his third second. He has to get rid of it. Under heavy pressure from Olay. Wells, Dylan Clark, Peyton Trask, the 3 on. And Mena comes out. He clips TJ Ifaturati. And is going to get whistled. Third foul for Imperial. We see that one more time. Mena had to come out, and he missed the ball on the slide. It was pulled back by TJ. No caution issued, but it is a free kick just outside the arc for Olay. What do they have going on here? 2 players inside the arc. Open shot for Mose Crawford. He sends it over the bar. That ball went over the safety net, so new ball coming in. Mena restarts play. Imperial still down a man. Costa just trying to get it up. He finds Abderrahman. Imperial still have it. Now Vasquez is going to go back to Montez. J.R. Real to restart the attack. Oyefaturati looking across the face of goal. Now J.R. Real with it. Left-footed strike saved by Mena. Ifaturati not quick enough as Dylan Clark clears it away. Calm approach from Olay with the man advantage. Ifaturati dribbles that one out of bounds.
One of the things interesting, we talked about Davide Depoce playing 80% of the game. This is a moment where he's not in because of that composure. And by him not being able to maintain his composure, he's not able to be a part of this game, where this is a pivotal moment where he needs to be on the court.
Mena saves that one. It is possible that they, in their sort of penalty kill, they have chosen not have him on the court. That could be a tactical decision from Pierce Brannigan to try to use that time to have him catch his breath, but it also could be what you mentioned there. We still have we just had the fourth player come back in for Imperial, so they have successfully killed that penalty, and the next stoppage of play will be a timeout for Imperial. Here's a Faturati looking for Mose Crawford, and that's going to bring us to the timeout for Detroit Imperial. They trail by 4, 8 minutes to go. Their season on the line. They have to get back into this game and tie, send it into extra minutes, or get ahead in order to make the finals. Reminder, you can follow us on social media, FCS, as well as all the teams in the FCS, Facebook, Instagram, of course, here on YouTube. If you'd like to subscribe, feel free to hit that subscribe button, the notification bell if you'd like. After this one, our finals will be set. The 2 teams will be set, and we'll be talking about that on the third half on Thursdays. Join us at 8:30 p.m. live for our live podcast as we talk about all the things FCS. Imperial taking this timeout. Gerard, what do you think is being communicated as their season's on the line? They're down 4.
The game is not over. No matter what has happened in the first 32 minutes of this game, they have nearly 8 minutes left. They can come back. There's still a chance. They're only down by 4 goals. Goals can come quick and fast. They can snowball really quickly in futsal. And so what I'm telling my team as Pierce Brannigan is the game is not over. We have 8 minutes. Let's get back into this game, 1 goal at a time.
Now 4 goals, can change very quickly in futsal, but against a team like Olay, and we've seen them play really good defense all year, it's even just that much harder. Detroit Imperial do have one of the leading goal scorers in the league, 14 goals coming into this game in Davide DePoce. He currently is on the bench, assumably getting more rest for a final push. High pressure now from Imperial. On the court for Olay, Sammy Esquivel, Cesar Alayo, Marcos Real, Mose Crawford. And Imperial are going to win that. Abdu Al-Gabri doing well. He has Abderrahman, Hollowell, and Wells with him. Mena comes up. 6 attackers, a toe poke off the mark for Emerson Mena.
First time we're seeing Mena fly this night. Thinking about offensive mentality from a goalkeeper, when do we see Forbes? It's getting close. It looks like we're about to see him right now.
Yep, here comes Michael Forbes coming on to the pitch for the first time. And he certainly looks like he's going to have an offensive-minded approach.
He is the most prolific goal scorer in the FCS from the goalkeeper position.
Looks like he has 2 goals on the year.
And 3 assists.
3
He
assists.
is an offensive threat.
That's something that Imperial needs. They're down 4. Foul count 3-0. Olay with no fouls in this half. Imperial with 3. Giveaway from Sammy Esquivel. Costa Wells trying to go in transition. He's going quick. He faces 2. Andres Montes gets it away. Wells on the rebound. Nearly found Hollowell. That could have been goal number 3.
Yeah, fantastic movement from Costa Wells. Wasn't able to finish it. John Hollowell was almost right there to put it away, but he couldn't either.
Wells with the bike. Save from Montez. Another exciting bicycle kick. Not 1, but 2 we've seen in this game. Can Imperial get it out? They're not out of trouble yet. Marcos Real pulling that one. We're going to have to show you that bicycle at the next stoppage. Wow. Can you believe it? 2-1 game. 2-1 half.
Yeah, Imperial's putting everything out there right now.
Derrimon to the floor. He thinks he got fouled. No call. Hollowell with a slide. Olay continue possession. Forbes with the save. He makes his first save of the night. And remember, even though Forbes is proficient on offense as a keeper, before we saw Emerson Mena in action, he was in that conversation of best goalkeeper in the league.
Yeah, he's also an outstanding shot stopper. We talk about those saves that were missed on the bottom low corner. Those are patented ones that Forbes stops.
Foul number 4 against Olay from
against
the extended
Imperial.
arms. Against Imperial on the extended arms from Hollowell. Imperial bench didn't like it. So we see that bicycle kick again. Woo! Coastal Wells forcing the save from Andres Montes. Wow, that's 2 times that Imperial have had a bicycle kick chance that really, it was a chance both times. Here is Ole on the free kick. Montez is going to watch this one go over the end line. 5:50 to go. Imperial down by 4. Ole in the driver's seat. Can they get another one here? They do through the 5-hole of Michael Forbes. Sammy Esquivel has a dance with his goal number 7.
Outstanding ball movement. Sammy Esquivel had a really, really great display of technical skill just to create the opening down the sideline, and then to play it off to Cesar Alayo, and Alayo knew exactly what Esquivel was going to do. And, you know, it's always nice when you go 5-hole on the keeper.
It's tough to make a save from that close. Esquivel was right on the arc when he made that shot, only meters away from Michael Forbes, and his split save just not quite quick enough. And Ole go up by 5. This is their largest lead of the night.
And the first action of the night for Noor Awadi, you still have to wonder, where's Depoche? Why is he not coming in now when he is the biggest offensive threat for Imperial?
Forbes will lay it down for Clark. Quick turnover, Ole the other way. And now Imperial with their own transition. 4v2, one more player getting back for Ole. Clark at the back post, not quite there. Here come Ole, 1v keeper. Just Forbes to beat. Aaron Gomez, not quite there. You know, I'm beginning to wonder if they issued the red card to Depoche.
No,
I mean,
they,
he's still
they
on the
didn't.
bench.
He's still on the bench. Esela has gone.
Okay, so that disproves that theory.
No, I do know that when Depoche was on the bench, he went to the bench after that controversial call. He did have some choice words for the official, and they heard it and chose not to caution him because it would be a red card for him. So, you know, they made that choice, and this is what happened last time these two teams met, is Depoche opted out of playing because he didn't want to get a red card. But at this point, you have 4 minutes left in your season. It doesn't matter if you don't have to worry about tomorrow. What you need to worry about tonight. And right now, it's actually disappointing that he's not on the court and not giving his team a chance to win this game.
Great touch from Michael Forbes as he comes up the court to be a 5th attacker. Ole defense being put to the test with the 5 attacking players for Imperial on the court. Corner kick for Imperial. Oh, going to the back post. It gets by Montez. Noor Aude, in his first minutes, finds goal number 3 for Detroit Imperial.
We'll talk about efficiency. Been in the game for less than 2 minutes. Already putting his name on the stat sheet. His great positioning.
His goals per minute off the charts. Looks like Aaron Gomez was there with him on the back post, but he expected Montez to collect it, and that one got by him. So an easy one for Imperial. Now they close the gap to 4 with 4 minutes left. They need 1 goal per minute to find an even score line.
Still no sign of Depoche coming into this game.
Now Imperial. Aude with another strike. It's blocked. Here's Peyton Trask with space. Faced up by Sammy Esquivel. His defending is enough. And he actually wins the kick for Imperial. Esquivel wants 5 meters. Referee is saying put the ball down and play. That's second number 3. They got to get rid of it. Here's Jair Real. He loves the ball on his right foot. Algebri sends him into the bench. He doesn't know why that was a foul, but it is going to be the 5th foul for Imperial. They have no more to give. Faturati back on the court, as well as Lito Esquivel and Danny Diaz. Lito looking up the court. Not far enough. Now Imperial with a half-court attack. Here's Algebri working with Aude. He gets by. Oh, his ball came across the line clean, but no help from his teammates.
A few times tonight we've seen that where there's just no one making a back post run, or if they're making the back post run, the timing's not right. Those are the best ways to score in futsal, and to not have somebody there to try to give yourself a chance to score, that's frustrating.
Forbes came up for the moment, but not on the same page as his teammate. Here comes Montez out of goal. Real down the sideline. Montez still across half. He was calling for it. The deflection, thought for a moment it might be on target. .240 left. One team on the verge of a trip to the finals, one team on the verge of their season being over. Imperial with an attack. Trying to find Clark in the back post, blocked from Andres Montez. They take the corner quickly. Forbes up again. He has it here. Takes a touch inside. It's too far away from him, but he gets it back. Finds Trask back to him. No. Open net, but Clark is there. TJ stopped by Dylan Clark. He makes a key save on the open net.
You know, it's one of the things that Imperial has been missing all season when they do fly the keepers, not having that defensive presence when DePoche is not in the game. Dylan Clark showing his prowess, locking down the defensive end while Forbes is out of goal.
Forbes goes direct. Did that touch TJ? No, says the referee.
2 minutes left. Will we see DePoche? It does not seem like we will tonight.
Vasquez going down the line. Not able to complete what he's trying to do. Kicking for Imperial. Referee says it's a little too far up the court. Trask takes it. Forbes already up the court. Trask gets by one, and it's cleared by Danny Diaz.
You got to watch out. That ball's coming in hot.
That went right over our heads.
It went right over our heads.
I didn't see you flinch.
Ooh, I didn't flinch.
No, you didn't flinch.
I didn't flinch, but I realized after I saw it hit the netting that I didn't flinch, and the fact that as close as that came to us, that would have taken either of our heads off.
Trask with his back to goal. Two defenders on, and TJ Ifaturati capitalizes on the empty net. Goal number 8, Imperial in complete control with a trip to the finals clearly in view.
Yeah, well, you know, we talked about that just a few minutes ago, that when they have that empty net, when Forbes is flying, they have a tendency to let goals in, pretty easy ones. There's no defensive presence. In that moment, there was nobody back, and it made it a really easy opportunity to put it in.
Now just under 90 seconds to go.
And again, 90 seconds left. You know, to not have your best playmaker in the game is not the way you want to end a season.
That's going to be, I believe it's going to be a rolling foul of the next stoppage on Ole's attack. Danny Diaz with it here. He goes down, puts the ball across. He wonders how many it's going to take. He wants a foul.
And I guess there was not a rolling foul.
No rolling foul there. I thought they played advantage, but not the case. Ball not on the line for that one. It'll be a turnover to Ole.
You know, for all of the things that we did talk about throughout this game, the scoreline's very similar to what we thought it would be in the way that it would turn out. Olay in complete control of the game.
And with 60 seconds left, almost certainly it looks like it will be a Grand Rapids clash for the final next Saturday, this coming Saturday, I should say.
Yeah, in all season, they have been the two best teams. So regardless of any calls that could have went one way or another tonight, as TJ steals the ball, DS with an opportunity, extra pass to
Alayo absolutely blew that one, and he knows it. And his whole bench is calling for a sub. His whole bench said, get him out of the game. They looked right at me and said, sub. They did the little, substitution motion. They wanted to get him out.
Well, Aaron Gomez did say he's the best 1v1 defender. One of them, Cesar Layo, he did not say he was one of the best finishers.
That one on clear display in this case. Here's Al Gabri with 20 seconds to go. Imperial still fighting. Ahmed Abderrahman trying to go across the face of goal. Forbes is there, Montez there, and Forbes is going to get whistled for a foul, and he can't believe it. And that is foul number 6, so a 6-foul penalty from the 20-meter mark. Forbes definitely didn't believe it was a foul. Imperial bench didn't believe it was a foul.
Yeah, it's one of the things, we've talked about this at length all night. There have been a number of controversial calls, controversial plays. It's really hard to understand what the officials are seeing on some of these calls. And that's where right now DePoche and Pierce Brannigan are really laying into the official with a misunderstanding of why that was called a foul. And I have to agree. Regardless of the officiating, though, Olay has been in control throughout the game. So I don't want to take anything away from Olay in the way that they've played. But it's hard to play through not only the calls going against you, but not knowing what is going to be a foul or what's not going to be a foul. That probably is the most challenging aspect of playing through situations like this.
And with 15.6, it's going to be goalkeeper Andres Montez stepping up to try to add a goal to his stat sheet. Forbes in net for Imperial. Montez, his shot meets the kick save of Forbes. Montez stays out. He's playing out here for the last 10 seconds. He wants a goal, and he's not going to get one. He has to go back quick. Forbes goes up. A flick on, nearly an own goal for Marcos Real.
And TJ on the back line, playing a little bit goalie.
Final second here is going to expire. Coaches shake hands, and the game is over. The finals have been set. Grand Rapids Olay punched their ticket to the finals on Saturday. This one ends 8-3. Before we get to the victory moment and the interviews, Gerard, your snapshot reaction to that game.
It didn't play out exactly as I thought it would, with a lot of controversial calls and a lot of misunderstanding of like what was a foul, what wasn't a foul. But as far as the score line and just the overall tempo of the game, this is what I anticipated ahead of the game. We've talked about this over the last couple of weeks. Olay continues to demonstrate that they're arguably the best team in the nation, and that will be put to the test next week when they play Midwest United. And Midwest United would say that they're the best team in Grand Rapids, whereas Olay would say they're the best team in the country.
We will find out what that is like, and we're going to have some more to talk about and some interviews to get to. We're going to set that up and send you to our sponsors, so don't go anywhere.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Welcome back to Grand Rapids, Michigan. The conclusion of this semifinal match, the second in the Futsal Champions Series. Grand Rapids Olay takes this one 8-3 over Detroit Imperial, and they punch their ticket to the finals on Saturday. Gerard, the victory moment presented by the Pod Escape Room. There's nothing quite like the taste of victory. That moment where you know things are going your way. What was that moment for you tonight?
Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth in the second half, and it felt like Imperial was taking some of the momentum. And then Sammy Esquivel just had an incredible display of skill on the sideline. He was able to beat his defender 1v1. He had the pass to Alayo. The pass from Alayo laid it back to Esquivel, and he slided home in the 5-hole.
You know, the victory moment for me, I'd actually have to pick two of them. First, I'd have to say, well, actually, they're related. That's why I picked two. Both times in the second half when Imperial scored and got momentum, twice Olay scored almost right away. Sometimes it was within 5 or 10 seconds game time, and they took that momentum right away.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest challenges for Imperial is they had these moments where they were doing really good work. They had the results to show for it with the goal, but then they gave up an easy one. You know, they gave up a quick one, and that's where they weren't able to claw back into the game fully.
And we're going to have a couple interviews for you in just a moment and some more stats. So hang with us. We're going to set up the interview. Looks like we're not quite ready for the interview yet. Olay still taking pictures. We're going to have coach as well as a couple of players to talk to. But let's go over some of the stats first. You know, one of the ones that jumps out to me right away when looking at this is the shot differential. 30 more shots for Imperial today, or for Olay, than Imperial.
Yeah, and it's one of the common themes that we've seen throughout the season. Imperial's not a team that ends up taking a lot of shots on goal, just the way that they play offense. A lot of the times their offensive opportunities or offensive possessions end in them losing possession. As opposed to end with a shot on goal. And it's really the difference in the ability to be creative on offense. And that's why we see a lot more shots from Olay, because they create more space and they give their players a lot more opportunity to take those shots on goal.
Another key component that Imperial was very frustrated with all game long was the officiating. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But we have Coach Fabian Rodriguez courtside with Jennifer Ascani. We're going to send it down to Jennifer.
Talk a little bit about how the game ended.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about the game. I love that the goals were kind of spread out throughout all three of our lines. So it's just a great team effort. I'm excited for that going into training this week and see if we can do it again next weekend.
So should I quote Jair and say goals and wins for the finals?
I mean, that's the plan. So hopefully Jair's words are true all the way to the end.
Well, thank you for your time and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
So that was the quote from J.R. Real earlier in the season. Goals and wins, and so far that's what they've delivered. They had 8 tonight, and it's their 10th straight victory, Gerard, and they're going to be facing a Midwest team on Saturday that is hungry to finish the business of last year when they went to the finals and lost.
They are, and for them to get the opportunity to go against Olay, they couldn't have picked a better team to go against. They have a natural rivalry. So many of their players have spent time playing together on club teams, either on Olay or on other teams. Quite a lot of the players play with one of the original teams in Grand Rapids, ABK. And when you think about that, that's really significant to how this game's going to play out next week.
And now we have TJ Faturati standing courtside with Jennifer Ascani. You know, he's a player we haven't seen most of this year. I believe this is his first game? No, he actually has been rostered for a couple more games. We haven't seen him too much, but he had an impact tonight. We saw his speed, and he's courtside with Jennifer Ascani. We're going to send you down to him in just a couple seconds. Go.
I'm here with TJ. TJ, you had 2 goals on 8 shots, and apparently you're a goalie now?
Sometimes, yeah. No, but I would just say like the team did it well. Everyone played hard, and then it's a good team win. So just one more to go, and then we're looking forward to a good team against Midwest. Yeah. So next weekend, just last game, championship game. So we'll be ready for that.
So is that a first save for you in goal? Can you tell me a little bit about what you were thinking?
I saw Andreas taking a pen, and I just figured I'll just sit back just in case. And luckily, I just made a save. So yeah, it was a good save. It was a nice save, but once again, it's about the team winning. All that matters.
Well, congratulations. You had a great game, and maybe we'll see you in the pink jersey one day for Olay.
Maybe. Vamos Olay! Thank you.
Great to see Faturati in action tonight. It took me the whole first half and a lot of help to get his name right. I was not used to saying that one, but I got some good help from those who have experience on the Olay squad. He made an impact tonight. Jen mentioned he had that save and goal. That was a pretty fun, exciting moment. A couple other ones. We haven't talked about the bicycle kicks yet. I'm sure we'll get to those. But we did want to talk with Coach Pierce Brannigan of Detroit Imperial. Before we do, we did see him pretty frustrated, his team pretty frustrated. There was quite a lot of calls that didn't go their way tonight.
There was, and one of the things is, as we went to go talk to Pierce right before to see if he'd be willing to do the interview, because this was a tough loss and a tough matchup. I got to see Davide Apoche has a huge gash on his leg.
Wow.
And when you think about some of the physicality and some of the calls that didn't go their way, when I say that's something that shouldn't be in futsal, it shouldn't be. I mean, it looked like he was cut with a knife, like the scab and the scar on his shin. It's about 6 inches long, deep red and purple, and so you're just like, what happened? How did this happen? And so this is the part where, regardless of what calls were made or weren't made, you have to maintain your composure in the game, and a lot of times you can't change the official's perspective, and you have to figure out how to work in the game and through the game. So let's hear what Pierce has to say about the game.
So Coach Pierce Brannigan, we're going to send you down to Jennifer with him in just a couple seconds.
I'm here with Imperial's head coach, Pierce. Pierce, you lost a heartbreaker, 8-3. Can you tell me what happened in the second half?
I mean, the second half starts with the first half, right? We talked about starting out strong, playing our game, controlling the tempo of the game, and controlling the ball, and that's not what we did. We gave the ball away. We talked about prioritizing our defense. We let the first goal go in, back post. The second goal, we get beat in a 2v1. So, we're giving instructions, and they're just not going off today. I think it starts is this week in training. Obviously we thought we did enough. We didn't, so we have to go back to the drawing board. Obviously we have the off season now to figure things out. But looking at the season as a whole, we started as a momentum building year and kind of turned into a rebuild year. We lost important guys like Omar and Denny, Omar signed a professional contract in San Diego. Denny got an opportunity in Columbia. So, with that being said, we still haven't really figured out how to fill their roles yet. So, back to the drawing board for us, and we go again next year. That is what it is. So we got to shake it off. Congrats to Olay. They played well, and good luck in the final.
So moving into the second season, how is morale moving forward, do you think, with practice? Are they proud of themselves and their accomplishments for the year, or are there, like you said, some certain issues you need to focus on?
Well, it's hard to say, right? Because, the core group of the team missed a whole month of the season. And they went to Costa Rica. They got the opportunity to play in an international tournament. So that definitely affected a lot of them, but it also affected the guys who are here. And having to come back after losing 3 games, in a row, and then going on and losing a 4th game, it's very hard to rebuild your momentum, right? So we're looking at the season as a whole. I think that point kind of built, the precedent for now. And it is what it is. That's investment and a risk we took. We wanted to give our guys international experience, which I think will play in the long run. But looking forward to next year, I think the core group of guys has to be at training, and we have to be at every game. We have new teams coming in the league next year. I don't know what they're going to look like. I'm going to assume every team's as good as Olay until we play them. So I think for now, we're going to let everyone relax. It's been a long season. Give them some time off to recuperate, recollect their minds, and then we're going to regroup, and we're just going to have to go harder. We're 4 days a week, and we're going to continue to do so. So we have a lot of work to do, apparently, and we're going to do it.
Well, thank you for your time, and you guys made it to the semifinals, so congratulations on that, and we're looking forward to seeing you next season.
We're giving the title to someone in Grand Rapids, so we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to watching that game next week.
I'm feeling a rematch for next year.
We'll see. We're always in contention, but we got some things to work on. We got some things to clean up, and we got new guys to integrate who are still learning the roles. So a big task ahead of us, but that's the beauty of the game.
Yay for futsal. Well, thank you, Pierce.
Yeah, thank you.
Class act from Pierce Brannigan on the interview. We really appreciate his time and his words. And just coming over to give us a little fist bump on the production team. We appreciate him and their team coming in. Obviously, they didn't give the result that they wanted. I definitely thought, we were talking before we went to him about the frustrations they had in the officiating, and that's something he didn't mention, and I think that's part of a class act of a coach, is that you realize this is not a time to discuss that. But he was discussing with the officials a lot tonight. We saw that quite a bit. There was 2 clear times in my mind at the beginning in the first half that cautions should have been issued to Olay, and they weren't, and frustrations did play into the game, and ultimately you do have to rise above that as a team.
Yeah, regardless of what happens, and you've said this before too, a great coach once said, it's not a foul if the official doesn't call a foul.
What's a foul is when the official blows the whistle, right?
And so, it's one of those challenges in a game, in sports. The officials are human just like we are, and if they make mistakes either for you or against you, you have to figure out how to rise above it. And it's really great to hear Pierce really reflecting and reassessing what they could have done or how they responded, and not really just looking to place blame on somebody else.
And one final interview for you guys tonight. We're going to send it over back to Jennifer Scani. She is courtside with Sammy Esquivel. Good.
Well, we managed to snag Sammy before he snuck away. He's in his coat. So, Sammy, you had 2 goals on 11 shots, an assist, and 2 fouls. So tell us about the game.
Great game. Great atmosphere. Our fans, great opponent. Always a good rivalry against them. To be honest, I think it was today just us dominating, right? Just us dominating a team that's good. But when you got a team that's full of 12 players that can play on the court and 2 goalies that can make the job done easily, it makes things that much easier for us, if that makes sense. So, game was great. Our boys went crazy. I did my job. I did my part, and we got the job done.
So now the finals are going to be against another Grand Rapids team. Yes. So it's going to be red versus blue.
Yes.
What are the results going to be? Is it goals and wins, like Jair always says?
Goals for sure, especially in the game of futsal. Win is obviously the target. You know, I'm going to say my team's winning. I have all respect and confidence in my team going forward, especially after this game moving on. We have the momentum. I know Midwest has the momentum, but looking back at our 2 games, we tied them at their house, killed them at our house. Looking for another great game, looking for another dominant performance from us. Score, can't give a score. Like I said, futsal can be a game of 2-1, or it can be a game of 9-6, but all I know is we're going to come and get that win.
So, Sammy, obviously you love futsal.
Love it, yes.
Absolutely love futsal. Why should fans come out for the championship series in Lansing City?
It's going to be energetic. It's going to be electric, you know. And every futsal game's like that, but especially the finals, with it being 2 Grand Rapids teams, with it being red versus blue, it's going to be electrifying, really. It's going to be players that have played futsal their whole lives, right, against players that have played futsal their whole lives. So this is going to be the game of the year, in my opinion, and ready to win it.
Well, good luck in the finals, and I cannot wait for this game.
Thank you. Can't wait either. Vamos, Ole!
Great to hear from Sammy Esquivel there. We talked about the what's to come in the finals this weekend. They play Grand Rapids Ole plays the other Grand Rapids team, Red vs. Blue, Midwest United. We got the Grand Rapids clash. It's the finals on Saturday.
Yeah, when you think about how this season started, Ole against Midwest, it started with a lot of intensity, a lot of excitement. If you didn't watch that game, go back and watch it. It's a great way to prep for this final. They were neck and neck. There was so many momentum swings in that game. There were a couple of red cards in that game, lots of yellow cards. There was just a lot on display of really what makes futsal great. And so we will see more of that next week. And in Lansing City, it's the best environment in the country to play futsal. And so when you get 2 of the best teams in the country playing in the best facility in the country, it's going to be amazing.
It all builds up to this one moment. Saturday, March 29th, Lansing City Arena, 7 p.m. Grand Rapids Ole and Midwest United clash for the title. We're going to talk all about that on Thursday on the Third Half Podcast, live at 8:30 p.m., so make sure you tune in there. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like. Follow the teams on the social medias, and that's how we're going to wrap it up here today. Jared Kleppel, Gerard Ascani, the whole FCS live team, thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of it, and we hope you'll join us for the FCS final on Saturday. Good night.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepod